I will be making an argument for um, kindness and goodness being sociologically the the theory of evolution's um, endpoint. Well, not endpoint, but current superior uh, choice in the environment, current choice given the environment. So, what do I mean by this? If we think about the theory of evolution and how individual in a species um, eventually generate traits through evolution, and those traits being beneficial to the ones of survival. If we look at it from that perspective, um, we could imply that kindness and being good is inherently more efficient when it comes to survivability for humanity. What's my evidence for this? The initial idea is looking at high trust societies. Now, we do consider high trust societies as being very ahead um, in terms of where we are in the world. Comparing, for example, where I am from, like the Philippines, very low trust society, very third world country. Um, and I think it's just, and this is a bit of an assumption, of course. I think it's just because if you have a higher trust in the social contracts that you have with individuals in within the society, then you just have less to do and you can do more things with your time. And I think that's just a pretty obvious statement, right? If you have a low trust society, then you will have to be more individualistic in your survival. Whereas in a high trust society, you can um, trust that another sector of that society will who specialize in that sector would fulfill the social contract that you guys have with each other, and you then in turn can do the same for the rest of society, and that's just efficient. And having being able to do to have that trust, that social contract trust, I think is inherently tied to empathy and kindness. Because for me to be able to trust somebody that they will do it means that um, there's a part of me that is allowing this person um, to live autonomously and me identifying them as their own person as well, that they will fulfill the part of the bargain. And I think there's something inherently good about that. Um, what then is the argument against? Every now and then, there are, of course, mega billionaires, super billionaires, who I think are not always kind. I think they're more exploitative, but I think they're actually exceptions rather than the rule. Um, in a society, in a high trust society, there will always be that gap where you can always exploit. But if everybody was exploitative in a high trust society, then that society would collapse. So are these just lucky few who are able to exploit the good characteristics of a high trust society. So it's not. I wouldn't say that it's perfect. That everybody will be in the high trust society will be performing as they should, but I think it just comes with it, right? I see them. I see objectively bad people who are exploitative as being mutations. If we keep pulling on the thread of the theory of evolution um, in this regard, because of course, in even in evolution, you need to have mutations in order to test the theory itself that this is the winning characteristic. And throughout history, I believe there have been a lot of bad people, if we think of them as mutations. But you will see throughout history that um, it never becomes the norm. And I think that's just proof that that it's not the winning characteristic that will help us survive. So that's my argument then on why I think they're the exception rather than the rule, um, and that they just exploit a little gap in this high trust society. But if everybody exploited the gap in the high trust society, then the high trust society would collapse, and then in my head, humanity then also would collapse to a more base form. Not completely. I don't think humanity would just generally become extinct. Although of course it's possible if everybody becomes exploitative. But no, I don't think they'll become extinct. I just think they'll become lower as a society. They'll reduce. The society will reduce to a bit more of a basic form, more primitive form, in my opinion. And so I think those are my main arguments for why, if we pull on the thread of the theory of evolution, we find that the characteristics of goodness and kindness in a high trust society um, is a winning characteristic for human evolution.